Hello, I'm Ilya Krutov, and with me today, instead of David Watts, Narayan Kumar, a senior storage product manager, and we are here in the newly opened Enterprise Briefing Center at Lenovo campus in Morrisville, and we're going to talk about newly announced Lenovo storage S2200 and S3200 products. Narayan, could you please tell us a bit about what are these new products are? What are their software features?
Sure, absolutely. So the S2200 and S3200 is mainly focused from the small to medium-sized business, enterprise business market. And the value add it actually brings is pretty cool features in it. So one is, with the top highlight, which is the intelligent real-time tiering, and that's a great feature for this, for this particular line of the product. And what it does, it actually, improves your application performance and put the data at the right time at the right place. And it just works automatically. The second piece is the the SSD read cache. And the third, which we'll be also talking about today, is about the rapid rate rebuild. So those are some of the highlights which I wanted to throw out there.
Okay, good. So can you please show what is intelligent tiering and how it works?
Sure, absolutely, love to do that. So if you look at the industry, the intelligent real-time tiering is the most difficult piece that you really, but you see that in any other product because it's hard to implement because of the fact that your data sampling is done every 5 seconds. Now let's take a look at how the competition does, or how the other product vendors, the hardware vendors do that in the market with their product. So there is something called as batch data migration. So what they do is they analyze this data over a period of time, and then it takes about 24 hours to sample that data. And within that 24 hours, they actually then promote the hot data to the flash optimized or the hot tier. Now when that happens, it's over a period of time, it's over 24 hours, but then what happens is, because now that data is not hot, right? Because it is over 24 hours. And that's how the competition is. But us being at Lenovo and with this product, what we do is when the data is incoming, every 5 seconds we actually sample the data, and based on that we actually promote the hot data to the SSD level. The enterprise will have the warm data, and then the cold, which is less frequently used, automatically is on the lowest tier.
So every 5 seconds?
Every 5 seconds.
Wow.
And the reason...
it could be called really real-time tiering.
Yes, and I think good that you brought that, stressed on that 5 second. And the reason why we're able to do that every 5 seconds is because we're able to split the operations, because we have a RAID ASIC controller, and then we have another Intel AMD chip in there, which is just offloaded all the other I/O operations, and the RAID ASICs basically takes care of all the tiering process and things that it needs to do. So that's how we are able to do the tiering process so efficiently within the product.
Okay, very good. And how can you enable this tiering? So what do you need to do?
It's pretty easy. So what we do is, I'll just walk you through the quick UI. And in this one, so basically all you have to do is enable the license for the S22 and the S3200, and you're ready to go. And once you have enabled the license, you can provision. So if you see this red, the red disk group over here, this is mainly the SSD drive, and then the greens are basically the mid-performance tier drive, which are 10K and the 15K drive. So I've created a pool. So on the left-hand side is a storage pool A, which is attached to the one controller, and on the right-hand side you have storage pool B, which is attached to the second controller. So in this case, what happens is, since I've already allocated the SSD to the storage pool A, so all the IOPS and everything, and once you enable to the license, all the IOPS, the intelligent tiering automatically starts happening, and the IOPS will be all served from the SSD tier. It's that simple.
Oh, so you don't have to worry about how to distribute data, you know, create some policies.
No, you don't have to. Yes, exactly. Good thing, because here we actually are able to identify, based on the block size, based on the data that what comes in, we're able to identify whether it is randomized, whether it is sequential, or, you know, so once we are able to do that, we can automatically promote the randomized data, which is most efficient on the SSD layer, and the sequential, which is more better suited for the 10K and the 15K RPM drives. So that's done efficiently within the system itself.
That is awesome. Yeah, it looks like the system is very optimized for that.
Yep. And then, you know, the other features you can, you know, within the software UI management, you can actually take a look at the front of the system. You can, as I said, we have 4 SSDs in this, and the rest of them are SAS, you know, the SAS disk in them. So this is the front portion. So if you take out one drive, or, you know, you can automatically get alerts and notification. And this is on the rear side of the controller, where you can see the 2 power supplies. And you know, and then the table will show you the connection, the fiber channel connections, and also the disk controllers and stuff. Yeah, and if you have any host attached, so you can actually see the hosts which are assigned to those the fiber channel ports over here, and those, and the pools and the volume configurations are and below. And then you can actually touch the performance. So if you want to take a look at, you know, specific disk performance, you can do the sampling data over within that same same UI management. So you don't have to leave this and go to a different browser and things like that, but everything is we try to accommodate within that one UI.
Yeah, I think, yes, it's very useful, very intuitive interface, yes. Okay, good. So the next feature is SSD read cache, right?
Right, great. So SSD read cache is also a great feature. So, which you know, it goes along with the system as a base option. You don't have to.
You don't have to buy a license.
Yes,
for that.
You don't have to buy a license for that at all. If you have 2 SSDs, that's it. You already are there with that, and you can, within that, you know, fraction of 2 SSDs, you can just improve your performance. Just by adding 2 SSD per pool, you can enable caching, and all your randomized workloads will actually start serving the data from that hot tier.
So do you mean that if I have, for example, if I'm struggling with the performance of my system, so can I just simply add SSDs and it will be enabled? I mean, I don't need to stop the system, it will be done, like, you know, without any disruption, right?
Correct, absolutely right. So this is all on the fly.
Right.
You can do it hot. As soon as I plug in, as soon as I enable the SSD caching, it, you know, there is a controller cache over here, which is, you know, which what it does, it as soon as first we try and fill the controller cache from the hard drive. The first time when an I/O comes in, we actually pick up the data from the hard drive and then fills up the controller cache. Once it fills up the controller cache, then it sends a hint to the Lenovo SAN manager, which is our software running on these controllers. Once the Lenovo SAN manager gets that hint from the controller cache, it then says, oh, I do have an SSD, let me, you know, leverage the SSD for caching. So it starts copying the data from the hard drive spinning media to the SSD cache. And once it does that, all the data is kind of served through the SSD cache for all the subsequent reads. So all the first time reads will go to the HDD, all the subsequent read comes from the SSD cache. Now the beauty of this, if my SSD dies or has a failure, nothing happens. All your IOs will be served at that point from the regular HDDs.
Right.
Right? Your data is intact, nothing has happened to your data. Yes, there will be, you don't have a cache until you replace the SSD drive in there, and then you're back into business.
Yeah, that is a very smart design.
And on the top of it, I can also show you, you know, we can show you there is a SSD wear level. So when you look at you know, the details of the SSD, we can actually show you that, you know, if the wear level of the SSD is you know, 100% or 80% or things. So if the customers are worried about the SSD wear level on how it's performing and the performance degradation, they can actually replace the SSD after they see it's a 5% or 10, 2% RAID leveling left on that SSD.
And can it be done on the fly as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The SSD can be pulled out and can be actually pulled back and put back in on the fly.
Very good, very good. Okay, it looks like a very cool feature which does not cost you anything, so it ships with standard controller.
Yes.
And the next feature is a rapid RAID rebuild.
Yes, so good that you brought that up, but the rapid RAID rebuild is a very key feature. So the way we kind of do the RAID rebuild over here, so for instance, we have drive 2 over here, and the drive 2 has a failure. Say when somebody has knocked it down or something over, it's a mechanical part at the end of the day. It has to fail, right? So all mechanical things has that issue. So when it fails, we try to minimize that fail, right? We don't want to disrupt the data. We want to keep that the flow of data coming and not affect the application and not affect the business. So what we have done is, in this case, so we do wide striping across all the disks. As you see, these are all 4 meg page size, right? So these are all 4 meg in page size, and we also rebalance the disks accordingly. So which means that all the disks in that particular disk group will have equal amount of data. They will never have more or less. They will have equal amount of data. So,
and why this is good?
Yeah, excellent question, because 2 things I can achieve. One is if a drive fails over here, I can actually rebuild in less amount of time because I don't rebuild the empty blocks. I rebuild only the blocks which have been affected.
Oh, okay.
Right? 2. Second, the rebalancing also helps me from a performance standpoint, because if my data is spread across multiple disks, now I have more spindles on the controller to service that application. So that's what it kind of helps from, if you have rapid RAID rebuild and the rebalancing to have. And best part of this, Ilya, nothing to configure. It's all with the system.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Yeah, so basically, it's everything looks like automatic and dynamic, and you don't need to touch it. Everything.
So we actually kept this thing in mind, that there will be only a 1 admin or maybe a 0 admin in a small enterprise shop or a small medium-sized customer, and we want to basically set this up, done, and walk away. This system, it takes only about less than an hour to configure everything, and you're up and working.
Yeah, it looks really simple.
Yes, and these features, you don't have to pay for it. It comes with the system.
Yeah, that is very good. That is very good. Okay, good. So now I want to say thank you so much, Narayan, for guiding us through these features. So basically, the key 3 features we discussed were intelligent storage tiering, intelligent real-time tiering, rapid RAID rebuild, and SSD cache. And 2 of those features, SSD read cache and rapid RAID rebuild, comes standard with the base feature set. Here we are. Thank you so much for your time, and see you in the next video, hopefully with David Watts.
Thank you.
Bye.